Companies are pushing back against rising cloud costs, and one CEO makes big gains in savings. Microsoft makes it clear that it doesn't want Windows 11 on older hardware. Apple's Vision Pro is showing disappointing early results, and Google makes it clear that its employees need to up their game. All this and more on the We're Not Gonna Take It edition of Hashtag Trending. I'm your host, Jim Love. Let's get into it. We've covered a number of stories about cloud costs recently, but here's a story about how one organization managed to cut their cloud costs enormously. The new CEO of the online publishing platform Medium has found an unconventional way to cut major costs by closely examining the company's cloud computing budget. When Tony Stubblebine took over as CEO of Medium in 2022, he was tasked with turning a profit at the decade-old company for the first time. Part of his strategies involved ruthlessly scouring the platform's spending on cloud services from providers like Amazon Web Services and Snowflake. Stubblebine says he initially expected this cloud cost-cutting process to require outside experts and difficult decisions, but employees quickly discovered that the company was simply paying for a lot of unused cloud storage and computing capacity that had piled up over the years. As Stubblebine put it, as soon as we gave them permission to go looking, they found a ton of stuff immediately and they could fix all of it. The savings have been substantial. Stubblebine reveals that Medium's monthly AWS budget alone is trending north of $500,000 in reductions, nearly half of what the company used to spend. He believes cutting this so-called cloud bloat will account for 25% of Medium's path to finally becoming profitable in 2024 after burning through investor money for over a decade. The cloud optimization efforts at Medium reflect a broader industry mindset shift amid economic pressures. A recent survey found that 83% of IT leaders plan to remove certain workloads from the cloud this year to reduce costs, compared with just 43% 4 years ago. The message in this story is that cloud costs need to be actively managed. And this is only one story of many. Companies are now approaching this as a discipline. And for more information on how you might bring these skills to your organization, we suggest checking FinOps.org. It's a volunteer organization devoted to developing this new discipline of cloud cost management. And it may be worth your while. Microsoft giveth and Microsoft taketh away. We did a story a few days ago about how some Intel processors originally were unable to run Windows 11, but were now able to convert because of a recent fix. But this doesn't mean that Microsoft is in favor of running Windows 11 on older computers. The latest insider builds of the operating system will simply refuse to boot if the installed CPU lacks support for what is referred to as the SSE 4.2 instruction set. The instruction set first arrived over 15 years ago with Intel's Nehalem Core i5 and i7 processors and AMD's Barcelona chip. So in some cases, quite fairly, we're talking about relatively ancient computing hardware here, but this move follows Microsoft recently blocking Windows 11 installation on CPUs without support for the POP-CNT instruction as well. And for users still struggling to run Windows 11 on aging systems not technically supported, there are going to be additional obstacles thrown in their way by Microsoft. The company's controversial hardware compatibility list already excludes anything but fairly modern CPUs from officially running the OS. While users can attempt workarounds, Microsoft seems determined to cut off older, unqualified hardware from Windows 11 through its ongoing updates and code changes. The message is clear. If you want to run the latest Windows releases going forward, you need a relatively recent PC that meets Microsoft's stringent standards. And for those who are intent on keeping older hardware alive, it may be time to look at open-source alternatives like Linux that can run on older hardware with respectable performance and may still have the advantage of recent security upgrades. Well-known Apple analyst Ming-Chi Kuo reports that the company has cut its expected 2024 Vision Pro shipments from 700 to 800,000 units down to just 400 to 450,000 units. This reduced forecast comes before the high-end mixed reality headset has even gone on sale internationally beyond its initial U.S. launch. Kuo says that the slashed shipment numbers point to demand in the U.S. already falling sharply below expectations. As a result, Apple is taking what some refer to as a conservative view when rolling out availability of the Vision Pro to additional countries. Kuo had recently predicted that Apple would release a modestly updated Vision Pro model in late 2024, but based on the lower demand signals, he no longer expects to see a new Vision Pro version next year at all. The analyst says Apple now needs to carefully review its product roadmap for the headset line and may need to address shortcomings around a lack of key software, the premium $3,500 US price tag, and comfort issues, and to do all of this somehow without sacrificing the core user experience. Poor initial Vision Pro sales could also dampen growth for some of the cutting-edge display technologies Apple has invested in, like the micro OLED screens. Apple has made a virtue of coming later to this market with a confidence that it would bring a hugely successful launch, as it has done so many times in the past. And while you can never count Apple out, killing their electric car project, now this less than stellar launch, along with a general malaise in iPhone sales, may be a signal for a bit of a rethink for the company whose motto once was, "Think different." A top Google executive delivered a blunt reality check to employees. The company's years of explosive growth and dominance may be coming to an end. In an audio recording obtained by CNBC, Google search boss Prabhakar Raghavan cautioned employees that things are not like they were 15 to 20 years ago and urged them to adapt a new operating reality. Speaking at a recent all-hands meeting, Raghavan acknowledged that Google had become the envy of the world by growing annual revenue by over $100 billion in the last 3 years, but he warned employees, "It's not like the life is going to be hunky-dory forever." Great quote. Raghavan cited rising competition, a more challenging regulatory environment, changing user behavior, and slowing device growth as new headwinds facing the tech giant's core business like search and digital advertising. He told Googlers, "We need to twitch faster like the athletes twitch faster to adjust to market shifts." Raghavan revealed he's shortening timelines for certain projects to increase velocity. The veteran executive seemed to reference rivals like Microsoft and OpenAI making inroads with generative AI, while Google, that had the early lead in this area, has had a number of stumbles in its push to regain their leadership in AI. But this is not the only tough message delivered to Google employees. Over 50 employees have been let go for participating in protests against Google's dealings with Israel. The company's message is clear: this is work, not politics. All of this comes as parent company Alphabet has been cutting costs through job cuts and reorganizations amid decelerating revenue growth over the past year. To be fair, nobody I've ever met has said that Google was a kinder, gentler place to work. But clearly, in a number of areas, the pressure is on, and that message is being pushed to each and every employee. #Trending goes to air 5 days a week with a weekend interview show we call the Weekend Edition. And we're also on YouTube now. You can check us out there. Please do. And if you do, give us a like. We could really use the growth. Find us at our new home on technewsday.ca or .com, you pick. And you can reach me with comments, suggestions, or even criticism at therealjimlove@gmail.com or at editorial@technewsday.ca. I'm your host, Jim Love. Have a wonderful Wednesday.